All right, so today we're going to be talking a whole lot about data protection and what it means and how you can benefit from it. Most especially, we'll be reflecting on the Lagos State government's intervention, the initiatives they are putting in place to ensure compliance. A lot of time when we talk about tech these days, it's all about data, and data. Joining me on the program this morning, I have Kehinde Ibrahim, who is the head enterprise architecture and data protection unit for the Lagos State Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. Kehinde Ibrahim, nice to have you in the building. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Oteri.
And how are you doing?
Very well, very well.
Great. When we talk data, I'm sure there's a whole lot of things that come to mind. But break it down for our listeners. First off, what is data? Because a lot of times we call that thing as if it's the air we breathe in. Data. So talk to me. What is data?
So data could be any information. So basically, when we're talking about data protection, with the NDPA, it's very specific about the data it wants us to protect. So it talks about personal data, right? It talks about sensitive personal data. Personal data, let me just tell you what that means. Personal data basically means any information I can actually use to identify you.
Okay.
So basically, your name is a personal data,
right?
An address of you, a photo of you. In fact, we're talking about unique identifiers, like your BVN, your NIN, your LASRA number.
All those things.
All those things.
They are personal data.
They are all personal data. They are data. Even up to your IMEI number, your MAC address.
Right.
Of your computer, all those things, if we put them together, I can use them to identify you.
Okay.
So with the NDPA, we refer to those ones as personal data.
So I need you to give me an overview, really, of what the Nigerian Data Protection Act 2023, what it is, and its significance. How significant is it?
Okay, so with the NDPA, let me just start the journey. The NDPA was signed into law June 12, 2023 by the present administration. It was actually signed into law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay.
In fact, this was one of the first bills he signed into law when he got into office. And it was done on June 12. You can see how strategic that date is.
All right.
Right. But the journey for data protection or the privacy law for Nigeria didn't just start in 2023. It started in 2019.
That's 6 years ago.
Yeah, from the former
administration.
Yes, it used to be called the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation, which is the NDPA. But the only difference between then and now is that it's gone through the House and it's now been passed into law. So I'm just going to tell you what this act basically does in the nutshell. It regulates the processing of personal data. So let me just put it this way. If I come to your organization, right, and I drop my personal data with you for the specific purpose in which your organization, requested for it, if you use that data other than the purpose of which I've given you, that is now considered a breach.
Okay.
And now if I give you that data, you now have the responsibility to ensure that that data is adequately protected.
So give an example of this, really, so that people can understand this better.
Okay, so for example, let's say I go to LRS, LRS, right?
All right.
LRS, they collect my data for tax purposes, right? So I only expect them to use it for tax purposes. But let's say I get a call from maybe an organization that probably sells land or give out loans, and they say, Mr. Ibrahim, they're trying to market something to
you.
And I do my investigations and I find out that where did you get my number from?
And they say
from LRS. That means they've now used my data other than the purpose of which I've given them.
So that constitutes a breach.
That is a breach.
Wow.
That is what the Act now deems as a breach.
All right. So let's talk about some key principles now and objective of this Nigerian Data Protection Act. What are some of the key objectives here?
So part of the objectives that they've talked about is it's, like I said, to regulate the processing of personal data in Nigeria. That's one of the objectives. Another one is to promote data processing activities, right? To make sure that you guarantee the privacy of your data subject. Another objective which is very, very important is the fact that I, as a data subject, so let me tell you what a data subject is. A data subject is someone that, I've gone to an organization and I've given you my personal data.
All right.
So I'm now a data subject of that organization.
Okay.
So what happens is this: if I've given you my data and you've used the other than the purpose of which I've given you, now I can actually go to the regulatory body, which is the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, and make a complaint. And the thing is, when I make that complaint, what would happen is they will do their investigation, and if they find out that that organization actually used the other than the purpose, what they will do is they will fine the organization. So you that you made that complaint, or you that you've had your data exposed, right, you can get compensation.
In that regard.
Exactly.
Let's talk about what is going on right now. You know, in the social media world, we have a lot of breaches that do go on. So would you consider those kind of things as violations to the Data Protection Act? For instance, I mean, you see people circulating all sorts of things about people, or perhaps somebody gets a hold of your own picture and just trying to be mischievous or something, posts it online, and, that becomes something for people to talk about. So is that a breach?
So it now depends on how you look at it, or the capacity of which that happens. So if it's an organization, that actually, collects data and just get your data and just put it out there on social media, that is considered a breach. But I, as an individual, so the law is still very vague regarding that. So I, as an individual, if I just take so I'm not a company, I don't collect data, but I now get your data and I post it out there. I think that's still subject.
So that's debatable.
Control. Yeah, that's very, very debatable.
Okay. All right. So how does the NDPA Act align with international data protection standards?
So basically, what's been done across the world is this. So different countries came together and they said that because of this explosion of data, data is being generated by the billions, right? And there was a need to actually regulate that space, hold organizations accountable. So what they've done is different countries have actually put in place their own privacy laws. Right, so Nigeria is not the only country that's put in theirs.
Okay, most countries are doing that.
In fact, one of the most robust data privacy laws that we have in the world is the GDPR. That's the General Data Protection Regulation, which is used by Europe. In fact, if you put the NDPA side by side with the GDPR, you will see that we kind of mirrored what they did, so different countries have their
proper regulations carried out in Europe,
exactly,
so to say.
Yes.
Let's come to what Lagos State is doing now, and how Lagos State is implementing this to ensure compliance. Talk to me. What are the initiatives that you guys are coming up with?
Okay, so with Lagos State, we were first to actually see that government is one of the biggest generators of data, right? The amount of data we collect, so we put in place, we started this journey in 2021.
Okay.
Mr. Governor kicked the ball rolling by setting up a committee on data governance. So that committee is headed by the Honorable Attorney General. We have the head of service in that committee. So these members of that committee, what they are supposed to do is see to the implementation of data protection in the state. So what we've been doing regarding compliance is that we've been doing quite a lot of advocacy and awareness. I can tell you that as at today, we've actually done workshops for about 107 MDAs.
Wow.
Yeah.
In Lagos State.
Yeah. In the workforce. We have so part of the provisions of that law is that you must have who you call a data protection officer.
In every organization.
In your organization, if you collect data, they will see to the compliance of that law. So what we've done, we have about 73 data protection officers
that have been trained,
established in 73 different MDAs. In fact, as I speak, we have basically all our general hospitals, right, which is where a lot of sensitive data fly around, we have a data protection officer.
Okay, good.
In
you're pressing the mic now.
You know, so yeah, so I mean, so we've done that. We've done the advocacy. We're doing. I mean, we're rolling out policies. You know, the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. You know, ably led by the Permanent Secretary and the Honorable Commissioner. We've partnered with the Ministry of Justice.
Right.
And we've been rolling out policies. You know, we have about 8 policies out right now. I mean, I'll mention that we have the email policy that we've rolled out. I mean, what it speaks to is that we want every civil servant that if you're sending official correspondence, you must use your official email address. I mean, that is one thing we're trying. That's a culture we're trying to get them to imbibe now. We have the password policy. We have the ClearDex policy. You know, I mean, we have the CCTV policy. We have a privacy policy.
Right.
I mean, privacy policy is basically we informing, you know, members of public or whoever does business with us, you know, once, you know, that this is what Lagos State does with the kind of data, you know, our MDAs collect. You know, we've even gone as far as we have the DPIA policy.
What does that mean?
DPIA, so that's the data protection impact assessment policy. What that does
an impact assessment for data protection.
Yeah. So what we're saying is this: if you're going to be doing a solution, or that's going to involve the processing of personal data, we want to have a data protection impact assessment on it. We want to see the privacy controls you've built in from scratch.
Right.
You know, if it complies with what the regulation says. I mean, so we have that. We have the data subject access request policy.
Okay.
You know, so basically part of the provisions of the law is that what a data subject's rights, because now data subjects have their rights. One of the rights is right to access.
Okay. So we'll talk about these rights even as the program moves on. But so all of this is being put in place by the Lagos State government. But let's talk about awareness now. So what is the ministry doing about raising awareness on data protection among citizens and organizations?
Yes, so basically part of what we're doing, I mean, I talked about the advocacy we're doing around the states. I mean, we have, so with organizations that does business with the states, we've gone a step further. We're saying that before you can, you know, engage or do business for the Lagos State government, there are things you need to put in place now.
Okay.
Right? So we're expecting that you've done your data audits for the year. So part of what the provisions of this law says now is this: just like you do your tax audits or your financial audits, now organizations are now mandated to do a data protection audit.
So how do we do that?
Yeah, it's simple. So basically so we've got who you call DPCOs. They are data protection compliance organizations, right?
Okay.
So what these organizations does is this: they prefer or they offer data protection services for organizations, right?
Okay.
So what they will do your audit for you. So they come, they sit down with you, carry out an impact assessment on your organization. The results they file with the regulatory body, which is the Nigerian Data Protection Commission.
Right.
And what that commission does is they issue that organization with what you call a compliance badge. Right, so we expect every organization that does business with the state to have their compliance badge.
From the Data Protection Commission?
Exactly.
But I thought you guys are supposed to be overseeing that. So why do we need to go to?
So we only have a regulatory body that governs data protection for Nigeria. So basically,
it has not been domesticated.
It's not be. Yeah, we're working towards that. I know Lagos State. We don't wait. You know, we are already, you know, towing that line of seeing if we can domesticate it. There's still this argument if the states have the exclusive right to actually to do that. But yeah, we are
working towards that.
We're working towards that.
All right, let's talk about what you guys are doing to support organizations for developing data protection. So how far have you gone? Of course, you said over 73 73 NDPAs has been plugged in. Yeah. But what else are you guys doing to show up that? I mean, we have over 100 or going to 200 of these MDAs across the state.
Yes, so we have a strategy that we use in the ministry. So what we do is we're doing them in phases, right? In fact, we just finished the 4th phase of this project, where we had about 64 MDAs sensitized. What's going to happen is those 64 MDAs are going to end up, nominating a data protection officer.
Okay.
For their MDAs. And once they do that, we do an induction for them. So we do proper trainings for the DPOs.
All right.
We get the consultant, we call them DPCOs, to come in as well, to train the train the DPOs, right? And with that training that they get from that induction, they're able to carry back to their respective organization and be able to
Let's look at the assessment. So even from where you guys are starting from, what's the assessment for the MDAs that we have in Lagos? How many of them are data compliant, data protection compliant?
We carry our audits. So Lagos State have been doing their audits. And
what you're saying,
let me just put this out there. Lagos State is the only state in Nigeria that is compliant with this act.
You mean it?
Yes. We had the National Commissioner for the commission I told you about, the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. He was in the States last year. He met with the Deputy Governor, and it was, that was
an eye-opening experience.
Exactly. For him, he said Lagos State is the only state that's been able to comply, with this, with this act. So,
wow.
So we're doing a lot.
Beautiful. All right. So, but from what you've seen, in terms of what's on ground before you guys are even coming to this level, how compliant are we with the agencies?
Well, we are getting there. With the audits we've done, we've seen some few gaps. So that's what happens when you do your data audits. It tells you, what gaps you need to actually look at. So I'll probably say percentage-wise, I'll probably say maybe like 60-70%. We're not there yet.
Okay.
We can't say that all our data or all our MDAs are properly have their data secured and everything. But like I said, the policies we're putting out there, the advocacy, it's all. We will get to 100% real.
All right, then Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Nigerian Data Protection Act NDPA 2023, and Lagos State government's initiatives to ensure compliance is our focus this morning. And my guest, Kehinde Ibrahim, who is a head enterprise architecture and data protection unit for the Lagos State Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology, is our guest on the program. I'm sure most of you will have one or two questions for him. But before then, let me finish my own rant as well. But let's get back to the roads. Yes, if you are on the road right now, from the live cameras, we can tell you, navigating through Alakbore, we have some queues there around the filling station, but not really affecting the flow of traffic. It's well streamlined at that particular location, so it's still looking good for now. We did talk about a broken down, loaded DAF truck. That's a DAF trailer that's having a gear problem at Osolo Way, just by Slots. What's the latest with that, by the way? Control room, I'll keep it posted. Earlier on, we talked about the fact that a tow truck was, on its way. Okay, all right. So I think the latest with that says that it's been taken off. Good. Control room, Labi, thank you so much for supplying that. So that truck is off the road at that particular location. Let me see if we can serve you some more. Shango Tedo end is still looking good, and traffic is very, very good within that particular corridor. Let me see other locations. Yes, Lagos Abeokuta Expressway also looking good, but of course you need to watch out for slowness around the Ilezik, proceeding towards the Ikeja along down to National. Slow and steady, that's the name of the game within that particular area. Report of an accident involving a flatbed, that's a 40-feet container that fell on its side and hit the crane block that's parked at Lekki Gardens Phase 2 around the construction site. So that one is also receiving attention too. Traffic managers there, keep us posted. What's the latest with that? We'd love to hear from you as well. Let me see if we can just do a roundup of some other locations. Ebuteru and Akpongbon corridor, we can tell you it's good movement from Constate end proceeding towards Ijora Olokpa intersection. Slow and steady if you're moving from NEPA intersection on Eko Bridge inwards Akpongbon. Of course, it's a construction corridor. We have the expansion joints there being worked on. Descending Eko Bridge, And sending CMS Bridge, connecting CMS proper is also looking very good. Descending Eco Bridge inwards Elegbata, and of course the mini stadium, as well as Ebutero Market, proceeding through a Jalonibu Market up to the police post is all looking good. From there towards the Dumota Bridge inwards Ebutero, looking good as well. Leventis proceeding through UBA roundabout, connecting inner and outer marina is also looking pretty good as well. All right then, so you can begin to send in your questions 08099120777 and 09153877127. Mr. Ibrahim, let's continue on this. What will be the implication for non-compliance with the Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023?
Let me even first start with what the implication of a breach will be.
Okay.
Right. So they're saying that if you're a data controller, so data controller basically means the organization that determines the purpose of which you collect data. So if you breach, and if you're a controller that does more than 10,000 data subjects, it's either a fine of 10 million or 2.
Remind us again, data subjects. By data subjects, you mean what?
Data subjects, that's you and I.
Okay.
If you've gone to any organization, you've dropped your data with that organization.
So I'm a data
subject.
Okay.
So yes. So basically, the fine is it's either 2% of your preceding year's annual gross revenue.
Wow, 2%.
Or 10 million, whichever is greater.
Wow. That's huge.
Exactly. And if you're a data controller that does less than 10,000 data subjects, it's 1% of your annual gross revenue, or 2 million. So you can see that for organizations like us.
All right, let's take this call. Hello there. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Victor, and the guest. Good morning, sir.
Andrew.
Yeah, my name is Andrew. Please, a quick one like what you just said now, with what I've listened to before.
All right.
Vis-a-vis, this thing has been happening, and I believe it's still happening. Now, MTN, what is it called? Airtel, Etisalat, Globacom. We register. When we register, we just see people using our data to send us messages. And we don't give, maybe Mr. Victor now wants to send a message to me. How did he get my information? And two, how did Mr. Ibrahim get my information to send another message to me? Oh, they now call them, they now say, oh, they had it, they are using it to do survey, they are using it to do this. What implication has that got? Because all these people, we register, we go SIM card registration, update your SIM card KYC, you go to most of these places, we put our data there. When we put it there, even in all these communication companies, and people get our data there to even do, vote for Labour Party, vote for APC, vote for PDP. How do they get our numbers, all those political parties too, and so on?
Okay, all right.
I rest my case. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you so much for your question. I hope you get what he's trying to say, Ibrahim.
Yes, I do.
So will that amount to a breach? I mean, all those telecoms, all those sending people.
So the thing is this: for them to give out your information, right, they will have needed consent from you, right? So what these companies do, they are now very smart because of all these privacy laws.
Okay.
If you probably lose your SIM card and you go to any of the networks, right, there's this form they give you that has all these data sets. You put all your information on it. But you now see that they put a consent statement there that says they might share your data with any third party.
They write it there.
Yeah. So you now sign. A lot of us don't read it.
Can I reject?
So that's the thing, right? You should be able to reject. It's just like you go online, you go to some website, right? There's some website you go to, then the cookie consent comes in.
All right.
Cookie consent is basically they trying to get your consent because they might probably target you for marketing.
Right.
There's sometimes that if you don't accept, you can't get.
You can't proceed.
Exactly.
So would that not be arm twisting?
It is arm twisting because you should be able to freely give your consent, just like you can freely.
You need to face that microphone very well. Yes.
Just like you can freely withdraw that consent.
Okay.
So I know the regulatory body is looking into that as well. And But that gentleman, he made the comment that he doesn't know where they get this data from. But what I would say is even yourself, what are you doing, or what things are you putting in place to ensure that your data is not just out there?
Is there a way I can protect myself from data breach?
Is there a way you can protect yourself?
Right.
Yes. I mean, like I said, if I'll give, for example, you I'm sure you have your social media accounts, right? Are you the kind of person that if I search your name, Mr. Victor, and it comes up maybe on Facebook, your social media,
right.
Are you the kind of person that, do I just get to see your profile like that? Or do you need to send a request? Or do I need to send a request to be your friend?
Oh.
Now, I'm going to tell you, let me just paint a scenario for you. That's
okay.
just real quick. Something happened. This lady, right, goes to this store, drives a nice car, parks. On her way out, she sees that the car's already blocked her, right?
Okay.
There's a number on the dashboard that tells her to call the person if she wants to move. And she does that. She calls that person, and the person comes, moves his car, and she leaves. For you, that would be that. I mean, there's nothing in there, right? But I'll tell you the series of actions that's actually taking place
after that,
right? So what's happened is this: she's called the person, and that person, looks at his phone. Truecaller, he's got Truecaller. Truecaller has brought out that lady's name, right?
Ooh.
So he knows the person, he knows the lady's number. He has seen the lady's face, so he knows who that person is. All he did was he went to the internet, put down that lady's name, Bimbo Daramola.
All right.
Puts it down there. Obviously, he goes to Facebook, there's going to be a lot of Bimbo Daramola that will pop up. But because he has already seen her before, he knows that this is the person I'm looking for.
Right.
Dives into her profile. She doesn't have any controls on her page, so there was no request for a friend. So he's able to see, her contact. So, and with Facebook, I can draw a profile of you. So Facebook won't tell me your age, but it will wish you birthday, right?
Every
Happy
year.
birthday, yeah. So if I go in there, I know what day your birthday is. Somebody's going to probably comment happy 40th birthday. So now I can
Can begin to put bits and pieces together about me.
Are you the kind of person that you I mean on WhatsApp, on your status, whatever happens to you throughout the day, it's already on it.
Good morning.
Okay, let's just take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Vicky.
Yeah.
God bless you for your good work. Bjorn from Lekki.
Oh, Bjorn, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well. God bless you for your good work.
Great.
Very nice topic. Data protection. I don't know. I want to ask our girls this morning. Is there an app you can download to track the scammers? Because I have a couple of instances I want to talk about, but time will not permit.
Okay.
Like someone was using a white lady's a picture on Twitter.
Okay.
Now, and he was sending me a message, and we've been friends, but unknowingly, I never knew it was a scammer. And he said he sent me laptop, phones, that I should get it. He sent everything that they will send it through DNA stuffs, that I should claim it in Abuja airport, and he sent all the proofs to me, which looks real to me. So I don't know, everywhere, I just help us how we can get this app. We need to track them.
Okay, all right.
Please, I'm Vicky, quickly, today is our wedding anniversary.
Oh, great.
Okay, I sent you a message and it didn't read it.
Oh, sorry for that.
Keep off.
All right. So happy wedding anniversary to you, Bjorn.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And send me well to your wife.
Bless you. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, then. So that's one of our very ardent listeners as well, Bjorn from Lekki. Thank you. All right.
Okay,
so
thank you, Bjorn.
Do we have any apps that can track
scammers? Not that I've heard of, but I mean, it's just everything falls on the individual, right? I mean, if anyone comes and starts offering you some, things that you've not, for me, I do a lot of, you can't just come at me and say, okay, give me this, or give me that. You need to, somebody just comes to you on Facebook and says, like, I'm going to just, like what the gentleman says now.
All right.
Offers him, for me, that's goodies and everything, I'll be very skeptical about that.
Okay, so that's the way one should approach it.
Yeah. So they need to, not everything. There's a lot of things going on in that space.
All right. Bankole is sending a message. It says, good morning. What types of data does the NPDA cover and who does it apply to? Bankole, thank you so much for that one. I think it applies to everyone.
Yeah, the Nigerian Data Protection. What kind of data does they? Yes, like I said, personal data, sensitive personal data. I think I made the definition. I've given examples of what personal data is. Yes. Anything that can identify you, that's your personal data. Sensitive personal data, that's a lot more delicate. These are data probably relating to your religious beliefs. It could be your ethnicity, your sexual orientation. They're sensitive in the sense that these are data that if it's exposed to the wrong environment, it can actually put the person that owns that data in harm's way.
Right.
So that is the kind of data.
All right. This one says, good morning, sirs. How can citizens report data privacy violations and what happens when they do? Thanks. Shikemi. Okay, Shikemi, thank you so much.
Okay, Shikemi. So to report, like I said, it's the Nigerian Data Protection Commission is the regulatory body for implementing this act. So they got their social media handles. I'm just Google the NDPC. I know they're on various platforms, social media platforms. They have a website that you can actually lodge a complaint if you have one.
Okay, all right. Then this one says, good morning. How does the government handle data breaches, especially in public institutions? Jamiu Balogun is sending that one in. Thank you so much, Jami.
Okay, Jami. So regarding data breach, the act is actually very, very specific when it comes to handling it. So if a breach happens, right? Let's say it happened on a website. There are steps you have to take. So the act actually, tells you what to do. So in event of, let's say it happened on a website, what you do is you look for the medium where that breach happened, which is the website. You bring that medium down, right? Once you bring it down, you need to find out how many people were affected by that breach. So even if it's 10,000 people that were affected, you need to actually contact them one by one to let them know that their data has probably been exposed.
Right.
And once you do that, you need to now go and report to the regulatory body. And all this needs to be done within 72 hours.
All right. So let's bring it to broader perspective now. Kehinde Ibrahim, how will that's the NDPA 2023, how would that act impact businesses? Those ones that are operating in Lagos State, for instance, particularly the small and medium scale enterprises?
How will it impact it? I would say that for me, this act is a very positive development, because the thing is this: quite a lot of organizations collect data. From banks to churches. What this act will do is it will make them responsible for the data they collect. By the time they know the consequences of what a breach will do to their company, I think it's going to be a win-win for us data subject, because now the onus now is on them to ensure that the data is protected.
Let's take this call. Hello there. Good morning.
Yeah, Andrew on the line. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you, sir.
Now, you did a loose data analysis there scenario of somebody packed to do this and so on. From there, they get information. Yes. Even apart from that, from Truecaller, people can just use number to get people and so on.
Right.
People should know how to share information. Now, information security. WhatsApp, they just introduced something about almost 2 years ago. So I saw you started seeing it around 2022 late. AI is there. That's another thing I think people should be skeptical and wary of.
Definitely.
Putting questions, asking questions, telling AI about yourself, and by the time they go, people get your information there and many other things. And two, the banks, when they ask for the BVN, those papers, I've seen them, buying granite, buying bully, and akara, all those things. They use them to buy. I don't know what the banks do about those things. Information security are in banks.
Okay.
People do information security. And I don't know how these things get to the people. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. So, are these things that people should watch out for, Ibrahim?
So I know with the banks, it's
no longer the paper kind of thing.
It's not really. I mean, everybody, because of this act and because of the fines and everything, everybody is sitting up. I mean, I know a bank last year that was actually fined 450 million.
Wow.
I don't want to mention.
Particular bank?
Yeah, in Nigeria, I don't want to mention.
Wow, that's huge.
Exactly. I don't want to mention the name of the bank and everything. So a lot of organizations are actually sitting up. It's no longer business as usual. So
All
yeah.
right. This one question says, good morning, Victor. What industries are at the highest risks of data breaches in Lagos, and how is the government addressing this? Tunde is sending it on. Tunde, thank you so much. So do you have any particular industry?
What industry? Well, basically every industry collects a lot of data. I mean, like I said, government is one of the biggest data processors. Banks is another one that we just mentioned. And another one that's for me that is going under the radar, it's the religious houses. Those are places where a lot of data is being processed or collected, So I mean it goes full circle. So it's every industry.
So Mr. Ibrahim, as we gradually begin to wind to an end, what's the message for MDAs in Lagos? How can they key into the Data Protection Act?
So the message is, we are going to get to them with the advocacy. The message is, for those ones that have data protection officers that's supposed to ensure compliance within their ministries. They need the support of the management, right? Because there are a lot of things they're going to be doing. They're going to be inculcating data protection as a culture in those MDAs, So what we would just say is make sure, the management should really support the data protection officers. And we as government as well, we need to train a lot of them. Certifications now the regulatory body has actually domesticated data privacy certification in the country. Before you need to actually go and probably do the GDPR, which is in Europe. So that are the things we're putting in place to ensure that the DPOs have all the necessary trainings and requirements to actually, do their bit.
All right. So to round up that story, you were telling the story about the lady who went to the bank and all of that. So what eventually happened?
Yeah. So basically, like I said, just by that random action where she drove a car, that person went into, social media account and was able to get everything. She's the kind of person that if she has an issue with a bank today, she probably post it like, this is my branch in Idumota,
Wow.
First Bank, So that person was able to build a profile,
Wow.
on art. So the whole point of what I'm just trying to put out there is this: what are the information about you that you have out there? What controls or what measures are you putting in place to ensure that not just anyone can know
Access
your name.
information. So we should be very careful of the kind of information
we put out there.
Wow.
You don't know what a whole profile can be built. And you would think that, I probably went somewhere and I dropped this data there, not knowing that you have not put in the right measures or privacy controls around your accounts out there.
We'll leave it at that for now. It's nice having you in the building. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor. At least it's my first time in a radio station, so I've actually chalked off one of my one of the items on my bucket list. So, thank you very much.
Which is good. Nice having you in the building. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we'll be able to reflect on Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023 and of course the Lagos State Government's initiative in ensuring compliance. And my guest this morning, Kehinde Ibrahim, is Head Enterprise Architecture and Data Protection Unit for the Lagos State Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. We have to go. The program has been produced by Mike James. I say a big thank you to Remy Aluko of our social media unit. Same for Okpayemi Shodunke. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a great day. Bye.